The opinions expressed on this radio station, its programs, and its website by the hosts, guests, and call-in listeners or chatters are solely the opinions of the original source who expressed them. They do not necessarily represent the opinions of Revolution Radio and FreedomSlips.com, its staff, or affiliates. You're listening to Revolution Radio, FreedomSlips.com, 100% listener-supported radio, and now we return you to your host.
Hi, good evening. It's Chris Hart, and it's Chris Hart Show, brought to you from sunny Windsor, or near Windsor. I haven't been on air for a long time because I've been moving around, and I'm still camping out in another friend's house at Windsor Castle. So I'm here this week, but next week I will be moving into a really nice house in Sussex. So looking forward to that, and that will be from a different area of England today, near to Windsor Castle, and it's really nice. It's really cold here, and I have been off air for 2 weeks now, so I'm just really getting used to being back on the air. I haven't got a guest this evening. I apologize for that, but moving around and my stuff is in storage at the moment, so it's been really mad. And I'm doing a thing with Hacked Off, which is Hugh Grant's group, and I'm doing a kind of a thing on things I used to do that were bad when I worked on Fleet Street for the Daily Mail, The Sun, News of the World, and yeah, I'd gathered together loads of stuff and just proof that I'd worked for them, and I'd put it all together in a briefcase, and my laptops were in a certain place, and all of a sudden last Thursday, I think it was Thursday, I was broken into, and the briefcase was stolen, and the laptops were stolen, and my camera was stolen. So I feel a bit weird about that, actually. Don't know who did it, but it doesn't really feel like it was just a normal burglary. It feels like someone wanted my stuff. So I feel kind of weird about that. I had a weird booking out of where I'd lived for quite a long time, and my horrible landlady, Denise, holding on to my deposit and just charging me to renovate the house, really, basically. And I felt weird about that, and I felt weird that when I was booking out, I hadn't got everything ready. I cleaned the house and paid £350 for it to be clean, and it was like, no, it's another £350 on top, and it just seems weird. I mean, I went to the supermarket just now and I got 2 bags of shopping, and it was £60 just for 2 little carrier bags, and it was Tesco, which is supposed to be the cheapest. And I don't know, it just feels like everyone's grabbing these days, and it's like, I don't know, it then makes other people grabby, and people think it's okay to do that, you know. I saw someone begging in the street in Richmond last week, and everyone was walking by, and they looked pretty well heeled, and everyone was ignoring her. I actually didn't want it. She said, oh, I'm really sick, and so I got some money, put it in a carrier bag, and gave her the carrier bag because I thought, well, I don't want to catch the flu that she had or whatever it was, but you know, I put £10 in a carrier bag and sort of lowered it to her. But if everybody did that, she would have been okay, and she would have had somewhere to sleep. But nobody was giving anything, and it just seems to me that everywhere is it's got really, really dog eat dog, and it's got really, really cold. And my landlady was pretty cold, pretty nasty, and I really, when I get treated like that, I tend to get traumatized, and probably makes the listener view me as a bit of a schmuck. But wow, my screen is flickering, so I hope that doesn't mean that No one can hear me. I Yeah, I go into trauma, and so I did go into trauma, but a really good treatment for that I was working with is rose oil. So if you're feeling traumatized by somebody, if somebody's been really icy cold or somebody's been downright abusive with a posh accent, that passive aggression that tends to get me quite really gets me really angry. It's a kind of like a trolling. Um, and it has a weird effect on me. I get that icy treatment from some kind of Draco hosting individual like this person. I tend to go into trauma, and it's almost like going under a river, a dark river that's got ice, and I sort of go back under it, and then you feel trapped beneath the ice. And kindness can get me out of it, but sometimes you can sort of approach a friend hoping for that warmth that you need to kind of break through the ice, and it's not there for whatever reason. They're busy or whatever, they're not around. So I have learned to give that to myself, and just to help my listeners out if they ever have that same problem. As I often say, a friend in need is a bloody nuisance. You don't have to, you don't always have a friend around who's going to help you. And I tend to, if I encounter a cold person, I tend to go into trauma, and then I do need a friend to be really warm to kind of sort of kick me out of it, break me out of what I'm feeling, which is pretty horrible. And I've learned to, because I had so many traumas last week, the burglary, which made me didn't feel safe where I was, and of course it was £3,000 down the drain, and I didn't have a laptop, and I didn't have insurance, and the hacked off people were going to pay me a lot of money for the evidence I had, and that has been burglarized. One can say, since it was evidence on the mail, since it's evidence on the sun, it might well be them. And yep, it might be, or it might be the good side, thinking I'm holding out on them and just wanting to take it without paying. Who knows? I'm not going to judge. I'll leave that up to God. But it does feel a little bit, ooh, coincidence, burgled, and it was just that was taken. I had a watch that I bought when I was working on Fleet Street and earning a lot of Gucci, pure silver Gucci watch, and it was left on the side, and nobody took it. And I said to the cops, why didn't they take the Gucci watch? Because it's like eye level as you go out the door. It was on the side, because my stuff is in the bedroom. That was on the side on the dresser. I mean, what self-respecting burglar doesn't just pick it up? Even if he's going to pick it up and then just throw it away, you do pick it up. I mean, I would. So the cop said, no, they don't pick up jewelry. I don't know, don't they? In my day of knowing about people that used to go out doing that kind of thing, my children's home, the boys used to go out doing that kind of thing, often were carted off to Borstal, but I'm pretty sure that they would go for like watches and stuff, not just the laptop, just the proof you've been working for these people doing investigations. Yeah, they took that. So yeah, nobody's going to pay me anything for my evidence because it's gone. Yeah, it's gone. Okay. I'm supposed to take that on the chin, but nothing really I can do because these are people that are more powerful than I am. And perhaps I was stupid to get involved with them to start with. There we go. Have to suck it. Probably next, I will just be found beaten around the head, dead, like Sean Hoare. But again, not really much I can do about that. There's some bad people out there, and again, the cold-hearted thing, the monster thing going on, and just the grabby going on. Even people with a lot of money. My landlady has a lot of money. She was gifted the house I was living in by her parents. She has a huge house in Hampshire, and yet greedy, grabby. The light bulb is 120 each. I said, don't lower me to your level. I don't want to grovel in the sand for money, even though I'm poor. I'm not going to grovel for money and be picky and grubby, as it sounds by that picking. I said, why don't you keep it? Facetiously, because Actually, I'd like to. I think if I was okay for money, I would say keep it. Your need is greater than mine because it just really lowers my consciousness to that disgusting level. And there's a lot of about, even though it's Christmas, which we're supposed to be thinking of the birth of Christ, there's a lot of obsession with materialism. If you read magazines, everyone's talking about what they're going to eat, what they're going to buy. Oh, I want that cashmere sweater, and rushing around and stressing out, buying things, getting loads of food in, and oh, what you can do at Christmas. You know, nobody is thinking about going down to feed the homeless and work in a soup kitchen. Nobody is thinking about going to a local orphanage, bringing toys. Nobody is thinking even much about going to church, or that it's supposed to be Jesus's birthday. Everybody's thinking of this crap that goes on, this nonsense that goes on, and it's awful. You kind of see this rushing around, and then on Christmas Day, there's a really weird silence kind of thing, and it's I don't know. You can't really pick up joy in the air. I think when I was a little girl, even though I was with my adoptive family and not having a great time, I did think that there was a kind of a spirituality in the air around Christmas. There was a kind of a magic in the air, and I don't think it exists these days. It's all about a new TV, and it's all about presents, and it's not there's no magic anymore. So when it goes quiet on Christmas Day, you kind of sense a weird kind of a feeling of dissatisfaction. And I did say that to my landlady. I said, you know, you might have more money than me, and you might be got my arm up my back, and you're being dishonest, but you won't know joy, and you'll go on through your life and you won't feel joy, and you'll wonder why, because you've got everything and yet you won't have joy. And that's my prediction for you, which is my prediction, because without a heart and without connection to the higher, you don't you're not going to have joy, because joy really isn't in, you know, a new silk dress or a big house or, you know, a good champagne. It's not really to be found there. It's not even to be found in another person, or good sex. It's only in connection to the higher. It's only in a connection to God, to go out and be amongst nature and touch a tree, a trunk of the tree, and look up to the branches and the top and see how the leaves are sucking in all the sunshine, and just feel that a likeness to the tree, and feel as if we are trees and sucking in the sunshine, feel our roots going down to the floor, and just asking to give your whole self up to God and to feel completely connected, and to just give up your will, and just to feel how ugly your will is, and how sticky and human and vile, and how we're all just like a meat factory down here, really. And the only way to live, the only way to find joy, is to connect up to that higher spiritual part of us, to really reach up into the leaves and feel what God needs for us, and just to realize that the fleshy, meaty part is nothing. Your will is nothing. It will all be wiped out at the end, and that's what happened to my landlady, Denise, with her £2 each for a bulb. And you've mucked up the electrics. That'll be £550 of your deposit, and another 350 to clean because the windows are smears on them. I mean, where is the God in that? You know, I'm a single mother. I'm not working. Where is your decency? Give my money back. You've got more than I have. And roll up your goddamn sleeves and clean the windows yourself, you imperious, arrogant bitch. So I have spent all week immersed in this kind of sinful evil with burglars, sinful landladies. Yes, you, Denise. And please go and spend all this money on a face cream, because you really do need it. Or some foundation, anything to cover what's there, which isn't looking great for someone who's really immersed in the 3D in Mammon and feasting off materialism. So reaching up. I was trying to reach up despite being burglarized, despite having this low consciousness being pressing up against me like a pig, like being stuck in a farmyard with a pig snout pressed up against me and the stink of it. I was trying to get away and burglarize the greediness, the no, we won't actually pay you for the evidence you've got. Or was it the other side who didn't want me to reveal the secrets of the bad old days in Fleet Street and spying at the Priory? Which was it, the good side or the bad side? Or is there actually no good? There's just greedy, grabby for money and not giving damn that I was a woman and would feel intimidated and had a child who would also feel intimidated by someone jamming in a lock, breaking in and taking your stuff, even though they were really slick professional and I didn't even know that the door had been jemmied until it wouldn't close properly. So that's how slick they were. And they didn't take the Gucci watch in it, because when you're a professional burglar and you're trained to do it, then you don't act like someone with a hoodie or, as I was told, a crackhead. No, a crackhead would take the Gucci watch. So there we are. So I had all that bad stuff surrounding me, and I wanted to reach out to a friend and a friend to be warm and loving, and there wasn't any friends around at that particular time, and they're probably sick of me being like that. Because I'm a targeted individual who does have to put up with IC Draco hosting individuals quite a lot. And there was so much targeting all in one go that I thought, what can I do? And I kind of closed my eyes and I went to Kew Gardens and I meditated and I had a cry as I got in touch with myself. And I felt a little bit like one of the disciples in the boat with Jesus. And Jesus says there's a storm, and I can't remember, I think it's in maybe Matthew's gospel, and Jesus said that the storm will settle and the disciples are really scared. And when I felt I was being targeted last week to such a high horrible level, and I felt under trauma and there was nowhere to turn, and every time I did try and get a breath back, something worse happened. I was getting over it in the bath here, and it flooded. It flooded everywhere. So, and everything went black. It was quite funny. I ran out in the street in a towel. So it was like there didn't seem to be anywhere to go. And okay, I'm not dead. I'm not blind. I haven't got cancer. But it was quite tiring. And I imagined being in a boat with a storm and Jesus at the helm and saying, just ignore the storm and just have faith in me that you'll be okay. And I shut my eyes and I thought, well, it doesn't matter whatever happens to me, whatever, even if I get murdered by these sinister creeps who are so greedy for money, who have taken my laptop to see what else I was, if I was hiding anything from them. If they do come and kill me, they can't really reach the part of me that will go on, and they can't reach the part of me that is connected to God. They can only get this part, this shallow, small part. And all I have to do is listen to Jesus' voice and to know if I stay close to Jesus that I will be safe in the boat, no matter what happens with the storm raging around me, waves coming up really cold and splattering me in the face. My clothes are drenched. I'm really cold. I'm really freezing. I'm shivering. I'm gonna die, and I feel really like shit. There's nobody around, and it's really dark, and I know another wave's gonna come, slap me in the face, and I'm gonna feel even more like shit. And another wave's gonna come and slap me in the face. I'm gonna feel more like shit. And another wave, and someone elbows me in the face, and my nose starts to bleed, and I feel like I'm dying, and I'm all alone. I'm horrible. And Jesus is saying, it's okay, just have faith. And I can cling to Jesus and say, it doesn't matter what's happening. My nose is bleeding. I'm freezing. My clothes are ripping off me. I know another cold, icy wave is going to come. And I'm all alone and no one gives a shit. And I'm in the dark and I'm all alone as long as I can hear the voice of Jesus saying, it's okay. Have faith. Even though you're in the storm, have faith. and I know that I will be okay. So I clung to this anchor in the storm, which was Jesus, and I clung there all last week. And suddenly I realized that I was free. And I was just in the very eye of the storm, as they say. And in the eye of the storm, there's massive peace because the storm's all around you, but you're not in it. You're in this like really silent part right in the center, and there's nothing going on in the center. So I was right in the middle of it, and all of a sudden I felt an amazing peace. And I thought, what does it matter if someone comes in and murders me over greed for millions that is on offer as regards all that's going on at the moment over things that I did in the past? And what does it matter? At the end of the day, they can only kill my body. They can't kill me, the higher part of me. And I felt just completely free, and I felt completely safe. And I knew that God would look after me. I knew God would look after my child. And I knew that I was safe, even though I was in a house that could be jemmied at any moment because the door wasn't secured. It's secured now. And I do feel weird. But all I know is I just have to say to God, protect me, and I am then in the eye of the storm. I am not outside. So faith brings you to the eye of the storm, and being targeted or at the mercy of these creatures that seem to be coming around more and more and more and more and more, that actually aren't human. They are hosting Dracos. I went to view my landlady. I got so sick of this person, and I viewed her on the astral, and she was hosting something that wasn't human. And when I attacked her, she still she just kept coming back. And I knew then that I actually wasn't up against someone who wasn't linked occultically, which a lot of these people with money, they are. You go and view them astrally, and they are connected up in all sorts of ways that you don't quite imagine. So that was quite interesting. But I have some powerful people to call on in the astral, and I did call on the powers that be. So she will be feeling certain things. I take no prisoners with being attacked by that frosty ice. I will not have it. I will not put up with it, and I will use everything I have astrally to get back at their roots, to go to their roots and to give them a good shake. And that's what I did. As well as doing that, there's things you can do to soothe the body when you're being targeted. There's things to do to actually ground yourself, and one of them is rose oil. And they do a really good rose oil in Neil's yard. It's called Rose Damascus or Rose Absolute. It's not the Rose Otto. It's a cheaper one, even though it's 18 quid. Rose Damascus. And buy some almond oil. They do almond oil. I think it's about £7, and basically it is a massive remedy. It is just, it's expensive, but it works. Just get a cup, also the almond oil in, shake the rose oil in, just 15 drops or so, stir it around with your finger, and run a hot bath and sprinkle it over the top. You can pray as you do it that it be a bath to heal you, to heal your soul, to heal the mauling you've got by somebody, the disgusting, inhuman, Draco-based mauling that you have. Because these people, they can attack you. It doesn't seem, they haven't attacked you physically, but what they do, they go for you spiritually, and they can claw. So it's like you feel it like physically, really, but inside. So you really do have to treat it after. And this rose oil is like balm on those scars, on those spiritual scars of someone mauling you in a very dishonest way. It's dishonest. It's really like trolling, where somebody leaves a comment, and they're like, try to be lighthearted, but it's done to sort of claw at you. Most trolls are envious, and that's why they do it. I noticed my troll is back. Dear Simon must have been let out of prison, and he's back again as Schlickster Turkst, trolling all over my YouTube. All this crap. Oh, you're a second-rate hat. Oh, you want to be a journalist, but you can't be because your books don't sell. I don't give a damn. They do sell because I'm classed as a Sunday Times best-selling author, actually, but I don't care because I don't actually want to be anything. I just want to be a child of God. So it doesn't matter to me, these kind of trollings, but it can be, you can sometimes feel it as almost like they've taken a knife and try to sort of get at you. That's what they do. This landlady did definitely attack me in that way. She knew what she was doing, because she, on the astral, she's very much mixed up with the Drax. That is her thing. Where I was living, it's quite that materialism. I think it's what the Drax are really, really, really attracted to. And the humans that have that arrogance and that pride and that imperiousness, they're really easy to take over. They're just skin bags for the Drax. They're skin bags for them. And where I was living, it was full of it, especially the women. They have that imperiousness, which just renders any connection to God completely bereft. And yet they strive for power. So really, they're just like serial killers who strive for power. They're that dangerous, but they don't get you in a dark corner and rape you and strangle you. They try and claw in any way they can. They can hurt you with finances, fine. They can hurt you with treating you badly. Usually they make sure they're very secure financially. So if they can get in a position above you, either as an employer, landlady, whatever, if they can hurt, if they can destroy you, if they can cut your heart and make it bleed or make it frozen over, and try and shut you down, really, because they don't really like humans. They certainly don't like heart connecting humans, and they try to destroy you. That's their thing. They get points. They get points on their astral connections, and they grow bigger and they get protection there, and that is their deal. Power, personal power, which, if we're talking about my landlady, God, she needs personal power, because when she looks in the mirror, I expect it's pretty damn disappointing. Anyway, the rose oil, back to something positive and God-centered. The rose oil is fantastic. You get in the bath and just try and stay in it for an hour, and just, it really is balming. It really is fantastic. Another thing you can do is, again, at Neil's Yard, they have rose tea, which is tiny little buds of, it's actually beautiful. If you go in there, try and go in there tomorrow, smell it. It's these little pink rose buds dried out, and just smell it. It's just, oh, amazing. And you just make tea with it if you get one of their little strainers, and squash them in the thing, and just put it in some boiling water, leave it to soak for 10 minutes, and then drink that down. So then you've got the rose going inside you, you've got it outside, and try and inhale some of it from the bottle, from the little essential oil. Just breathe it in the nose, breathe it in the other nose, and just breathe in that beauty. And then when you breathe out, breathe out some of their filth and their cold-heartedness, their inhumanity, their devotion to materialism, and their abuse and their aggression that's covered over with this passive nonsense. Again, it's to deny your reality. You've been hit, you've been bitten, but they don't have a face that says, got you. They've got a sort of insipid smile, or a sort of, I'm just stating what is. Oh, are you? This creep with the bad skin, she was like, I was just leaving, and my son had stuck on some little airplanes, just sweet little airplanes, he's a little child, and with blue tack, and she looked up, and I hadn't seen it, and the cleaners obviously hadn't seen it. They did a pretty good job, and she went, what, what's that? I nearly said, because she brought someone from the estate, I nearly said, you pathetic, stupid bitch. It's a child's stick-on things. with blue tack. That's what it is. But she was there going, what is it? Is it? I said, that's my son Stickers. Oh, but he doesn't live here anymore. I just, and therein is the little dig, basically the stupid bitch has been living off me for the last 7 years, and yet she has to get in the little, he doesn't live anymore. So the little, like that, but all I had to do was look back at that bad skin and that absolutely putrid little guinea pig face with the dead brown eyes and say, you sad little bitch. You had to get in and try and attack me by mentioning something nasty about my son. Oh, he doesn't live here anymore. Yes, my son was traumatized having to leave. You absolute piece of shit. Sorry, I need to take a breathing out. But the rose cures all that inhumanity. So don't worry. You don't need to depend on a friend. Just go to Neil's Yard or anywhere else that sells good stuff. I do prefer Neil's Yard. They've got those gorgeous little bottles. It's worth spending the extra because remember, it's you. These creatures, these women that are so abusive, they have the L'Oreal because you're worth it, even the ugly ones. So remember, we humane women in touch with our heart, we certainly deserve love more than they do. So suck in that rose. Rose is a really beautiful flower. It's given to us by God, and it is about love. So it's there as a gift. So if you're feeling unloved, if you're feeling that somebody has treated you in a cold, hateful way, they've abused you, they've squashed over your values, they've shit on the memory of your son and his sweet little stick-ons on the wall, they've made it into something, then just suck on that rose, put it into you, look at the pink, drink the tea, really feel that tea going deep inside you, really enjoy the hot bath, really enjoy sucking it up your nose because it's there. It's there for you to draw on. It's there for you to have, to own. And you don't need anybody. You don't need anybody because man can be ungodly. Sometimes a friend can think, oh God, not you again, feeling like shit. Must I pick you up again? You never know when a friend's going to be like that. And if you go to a friend needy and feeling like shit, guaranteed if they're feeling a little bit shitty, they might want to feel powerful by saying, actually, I'm busy. And then putting the phone down thinking, well, least I'm better off than they are. And I suppose one could think, well, maybe they're not the greatest not the greatest friends to start with, but it can sometimes be perhaps overwhelming if someone is a targeted individual and does tend to always have a problem. I know I can be draining on friends because I'm targeted and do get a lot of slapping, but I had so much in the last couple of weeks that I'm kind of learning how to deal with it and how to use Rose to heal. Then you don't need anybody because you've got the medication, you've got the tea, you've got the oil, and you can just medicate on that because it is love in a bottle. It is healing in a bottle. And yeah, it's amazing. I want to get a website soon and make up some oils and just put different things in them for different problems that somebody might have. For instance, bergamot, the oil bergamot, if you are having difficulties and overwhelmed mentally and you can't really get a rest mentally because you're chewing on it all the time, then just go and get a bottle of bergamot and just again breathe it in, and it just clears the mind. It just goes a pop, it pops the head, and you don't have that bullshit think. It's really good. I'm trying to think of different oils and what they're good for on a grey day when it's cold. And we do have a lot of that in England. We do have a lot of grey and it's cold. Then lime is excellent if you get lime, and also clove. If you get lime and clove and just take the tops off and just run them under your nose, both of them, they are fantastic, and they just jet you off to Cuba or somewhere like that where it's just, beautiful. There's different sights and smells, and it's not England, which can be awful. It can be quite an ugly country because there's not much light and it's bitter cold. And especially this time of year, it gets dark really, really early. So when I do the school run, it's 6:30 and it's dark. We have to leave at that time, and it's horrible. And but then you remember to stay connected to your heart, and have good conversation, warm conversation, and think about what matters, think about gratitude. It's always good if it's bad and it's grim to feel grateful for certain things, like a cup of tea in the morning, cup of tea with honey. It's like, ooh, be grateful for that you've got that cup of tea. Some people wake up in the cold, they haven't got a cup of tea. So just saying, oh, I've got a cup of tea, and really feel how grateful. The other morning I bought I had to buy a new laptop. I bought a cheap laptop. Sadly, the one that was stolen was was a good laptop, but never mind. And somebody sent me a link, and I clicked on it, and I got a virus. And it was one of those things that tell you to ring a certain number, and these guys took over my computer, and it was on lockdown, and I was really upset, and I just thought, that's it, really. I can't handle it anymore. And it was after all that happened. And then I went along to PC World, and one of the guys helped me for free. He just fiddled around with it for ages, and he unblocked it. And normally they charge 60 quid, and he did it for free. And I just felt, that I felt so grateful. And I realized that, I woke up that morning feeling shitty and turned on a computer. What about feeling grateful that I had a computer to look at? And I think if we are grateful for the small, little, tiny things, like a cup of tea, like, oh, I can turn a computer on and look at what people are doing on YouTube or Facebook. And, even though it's kind of shit, isn't it? It's not, you're not in Malibu and hanging out with Cher or starring in a movie, but still it's something. And it's more than the woman begging in the street in Richmond had the other day. And if you're grateful for it, then all of a sudden life becomes a lot better. Like, I was whizzing along country lanes doing the school run, and it was like pitch black and it was misty. Couldn't really see much. And I thought, oh God, this is my life. And then I thought, well, this is amazing. I've got a son, which is so amazing. And there's a heater in the car as well. It was blowing back on both of us. And I thought, well, this is an adventure. This is amazing. I mean, I might never have had a son, and I've been blessed. And here I am, because I've got a son, whizzing down a dark country lane where I couldn't see anything in front of me because there was a fog. And yeah, I suppose, been lying in bed. But I was having this really weird adventure, and I was grateful, and I got grateful, and all of a sudden it felt amazing. And I got my son to school on time, and it just seemed like an amazing adventure, and that I'd achieved something. And I came back to where we're living, and then I thought, oh God, I'm lonely here. I don't know anyone, and it's really lonely. And then I sort of got into a mood of feeling massive amounts of pity for myself. And I thought, well, I'm getting older, and I haven't got married like everyone else, and I haven't got property like everyone else, and everyone else is sorted, and I'm not sorted. And so I got into a fug of feeling bad. And then I went out and walked around this little the little town here, and I saw loads of old people, just so many old people, in their 80s, maybe 90s, walking with sticks, and they were so nice and sweet and friendly, and mostly said hello. And I thought, I still got some life left, and to be grateful for that. So gratitude again, push me out of this feeling of being targeted, of not having the best life, of not having a life like I imagined in my dreams, not having it turn out really successful, being a bit of a loser, being a bit of a failure, and it being okay. It doesn't matter. In a way, it's quite boring to be a winner because you've got everything, and then what else do you really need to strive for? I mean, even Rocky Balboa lost it and he lost his whole desire. And only when he went back to live in a dump with no money did he get his hunger back. And at least if you're at the bottom, you haven't achieved anything, you're a loser, you're a failure, you've got something to strive for. And it's never too late. You must keep striving, striving, striving to get somewhere, to find out why you're here, to help others, to serve, there's a spiritual battle going on. It's raging. The other morning I was like having a lucid dream, and this being spoke to me, and I was in the middle of feeling really kind of bad, on the verge of waking up between sleep and wake. And this being, who didn't seem unkind, said to me, milksop, milksop. And that went through my head, milksop. And I guess yes, I am a milksop, because there is a battle raging at the moment. There's a spiritual battle, and if you have a heart, and if you are trying to do something, get out a little message, or be part of the Christ side, that you will have spiritual slaps. And you need to be aware of what's going on in the universe. You need to be aware there's a spiritual battle. There's really bad things going on. People are being really hurt. And you just have to turn on the news to see what's going on, and how many bad things are going on. There's the Pizzagate revelations, that ugliness. There's Aleppo. There's just pain and misery absolutely everywhere. Even if we personally are managing to keep our shit together, there are still other people that are really going through horrific pain and suffering. And I saw on the front page of the newspaper today about the young boys in North Korea, being chain gangs, just working their whole lives, just breaking up rock like prisoners, little boys of 4 and 5. And if we can just, be aware that there's a really bad spiritual battle going on, then we will fight. Then when we have bad things happen, we will fight through it, and we will also fight with the flame of love. There's no point in us joining in and being grabby for money and offensive, with us being cold-hearted to other people, with us not being warm to strangers, and we then are being part of the problem. To walk past somebody in the street begging without at least giving them a 10p piece is being part of the problem. So that entity that said to me, milk sop, was true. I am a milk sop. I need to toughen up and realize there's a spiritual battle on. And what I might see for my life is wanting security, and wanting a home, and wanting money, and wanting to feel just, I don't know, just secure and safe and somehow okay, or just that security. But it's not really like that. You can't really be dependent on God. You can't really give your will and your life over to God if you've got it cushy, because as Jesus said about it's harder for the rich man to pass to get to heaven as it is for was it camel to fit for the eye of a needle, something like that anyway. But if you are very comfortable in this world, then you don't really look to things of God, you don't really look to spiritual things. If you do, you can do it in a way that's not really, and I'm not just talking, I mean people that haven't suffered pain, people that are cushioned, because you can also have rich people that feel masses of pain too, and they're suffering. People that have no pain, people that are very cushioned, they often don't look to God because they don't have to, because they're not desperate, because everything's fine. So really, they are the ones that are more unfortunate, because if you're looking to God, then you're on the higher level. And of course, we're all here temporary. It's a temporary thing, and then we'll go to the real life after. This is just the immersion into flesh, which isn't great. It's kind of shit, really. Then we will have our real lives then. So we just have to do our best here, and our best is that connection to God, and that daily connection to God. Wake up in the morning and saying a prayer. God, what is your will for me this day? What is your will for me this morning? How can I serve others? How can I help others today? Let me make today in your service, God, to say that every day. And, if you're pretty comfy, you don't tend to remember. But if you're having a shitty time and you're desperate, you tend to remember, because you want some help, because that this life can be terrifying. It really can be absolutely terrifying. Even driving down the road in a car, you don't get someone come to the side, smash in the side of you. There, you might be blinded. I mean, at any moment we might lose what we've got. It's a really scary place, but we've got to step up to the mark and just stay connected and just stay, because if it does come on top, we don't want to be caught with our hand in the cookie jar. We don't want to be caught being a selfish bugger. We don't want to be caught going, oh, what's that on the wall? A child thing? Or he doesn't live here anymore. We don't want to be caught being like that. We want to be caught saying, what is your will for me, God? Don't let me have my day. You have your day through me. I give up my will totally. I have no will. I have no ambition. I want what you want to do, using my eyes, my hands, my voice, and just to really give it up like that constantly. And then you're living in connection with the higher. Excuse me, not the lower. And the lower doesn't really lead anywhere. It's like a video game, or a sort of like pinball game. It's a really low level, and it's like Vanilla Sky. At the end of Vanilla Sky, the gosh, who was it? I can't remember who was talking to Tom Cruise, but they said you can sleep now, and you can go back and have a life, and you can, with the woman he loved, and you can have that fantasy, and you'll think it's real, or you can go and live an authentic life. And he dived off the side of the building. He picked to have an authentic life. It's only through having a difficult life with pain in that you do grow and you do move up the higher levels. And when you are caught at that moment, when someone smashes in the side of the car, at that moment, like Richard Gere in Intersection, when he passes on, doesn't he, and he gets the flashbacks, that you're not caught with your hand in the cookie jar. You're not caught with that, oh, what's that on the wall? You're not caught having a really shitty, dirty, small life. You're not caught with skiddies in your knickers and a smell of diarrhea. You're caught as something beautiful. You're caught as something, you're caught as a beautiful, beautiful butterfly. And when the moment when you're caught in the headlights, like that's it, something's happened and the universe is staring at you. You want to be magnificent. You want to be somebody that's walked past the homeless person in the street and who's given them everything you've got in your purse and has gone without your lunch. You want to be that person. You want to be that person when the lights of the universe go on you. You want to be caught being beautiful. You want to be caught smiling at that little old lady. You don't know her, but you're going to smile at her. That's really what you want for yourself. So if you try and live like that each day, then when the alarm clock goes off, that's how you're going to be caught. That is how you're going to be seen. Because remember, there's entities, there's a whole world around us, the fourth dimension. We can't see it, but we're being watched. by these, entities. Some we've known, some are, whatever they are. They come in and out, and sometimes, they observe and think, what a schmuck, or milksop, not really facing up to difficulties that well, being angry and thinking, God, haven't I got it hard? That we are observed. We're not totally private and secret like we think. Our thoughts aren't private, secret like we think. In the astral, the beings in the astral can hear our thoughts. It's not. That's the first thing when a medium who speaks to spirits learns that the spirit, when they talk back to them, they don't have to open their mouth and use their voice. They can communicate back using thought, using telepathy, meaning that the spirits can hear our, as God and higher beings and lower beings can hear our thoughts. So it's not private. So we've got to clean them. We can't have dirty thoughts. We really can't. We've got to have it, our head, like a greenhouse. And what I do, I try and imagine Jesus by the door of my greenhouse, and I don't let bad shit into my greenhouse. I look around my greenhouse each day. I see the windows are beautiful. They've got the sun shining in. I look at all my plants, they're all green. And if I look around, I see something bad, I try and get it out. For instance, last week about Denise, my landlady, I saw pretty much a dirty black octopus type thing crawling around the greenhouse, which was my absolute disgust and hatred. And I just literally had to push it out the door of the greenhouse, give it to Jesus, and say, hey, you look after this. I really hate this person. I'm really disgusted by them. Dealing with them has made me feel really, really dirty inside and spiritually dirty. I want you, Jesus, to deal with it because that's your promise. You will deal with it. Vengeance will be yours. You will deal with my shit. I don't have to. So you leave it outside the door, leave it with Jesus. Say, there you are. You take that. And they go back into the greenhouse and you don't have to think about it anymore. You can then look round knowing that that part's been taken care of mentally, spiritually, thought form has gone. The thought form has gone. It has been cleared. Jesus has sorted that all out. It's Jesus's problem. That person is how they are. So he has taken the dirty from inside me and is dealing with it outside. So that means it's not in my head. So I look around my greenhouse and everything's green. It's beautiful. All the plants are green. They're fresh. They're lush. They're shining. They've got dew, lapping up the sun. They're really, really happy. Something is knocking at the door. Again, it's a bad thought about somebody. I don't need to let it in. Jesus is outside by the door. I can say, excuse me, there's a bad thought coming in. Could you deal with that, please? And Jesus will deal with it. So I can constantly keep my mind really, really clean. Keep it like that greenhouse. Keep it fresh. Keep it abundant, because if it's abundant, then good things can grow in your mind. Good things. If there's those octopuses with their tentacles, the hate, the anger, obsessing about this one and that one, taking offense, then it's going to strangle the life out of your plants, out of the good. And those octopus type dark things with their dark tentacles, you just turn away for 1 minute and literally they've got the whole place. They've taken them over. It's like giant spiders taking them over. You look up into the corners of your greenhouse and there's giant spiders in each corner. They've sewn webs everywhere. And before you know it, you are in a really dark place. And everywhere you turn is just completely sinister. There's great big fat, juicy, hairy spiders. There's dirty, dark, thick webs choking your face. You can't breathe and you're in a really bad space. And this is supposed to be your own head. It's supposed to be clean. It's supposed to be beautiful. Just clean it all out, put it, wrap it up, pass it to Jesus, is acting as a sentry on the door. Don't have it. Don't live with it. Don't wake up every morning and have that. Go and make yourself rose tea, sniff the rose oil, have a rose bath, and literally see the greenhouse, see the green, and go through that and deal with it. You don't have to be a milksop. You don't have to be burdened down. You don't have to have the weight of all that on you. You can fight back, but you don't have to fight back by being aggressive. You don't have to fight back by throwing anything or being nasty. Sometimes I can be nasty, but most of the time it's best not to because it's keeping your greenhouse clean. You don't get to pass things to Jesus if you've been busy being nasty too. So even though it's hard to keep a temper, it's best just to stay with your feelings. I mean, sorry to go back to it, but my experience with my landlady was it was a really bad day. Basically, I had to go out in this garden, if you can call it a garden, which is literally it's overrun. It's her garden. This is, it's a horrible place. I never went in it because it was so awful. It was just nettles and thorns, and the thorns just were like barbed wire all over the place. And she used to come round and cut it back. And that's all you could do with it because nothing beautiful would grow there. It was ugly. And she used to cut it back. And she said to me, when the tenancy ran out, she said, well, she decided to not renew it. She said to me, oh, you have to pay a professional gardener. I said, nobody can do anything with that garden. It just needs, I don't know, it needs blasting or something, someone to come in and sort of re-turf or something like that. And ooh, she was expecting me to make it into a garden where it's just not a garden. And so I went out there myself, not being able to afford to have a gardener do anything massive with it. I'd paid someone to clear it and cut back stuff, and I'd paid them £100. And so they'd done the basics, but I went in there to try and touch it up. And literally, these thorns were cutting, and they cut all my legs. They cut my leg. I can still see the cuts. They're really, really bad. They were dripping with blood all down my lower legs. And I was just desperately trying to get rid of them. And they were sort of clawing against them. It was really, really awful. Almost like barbed wire. You can't really cut them. They spring back at you. And I was just trying to do this, and I had stuff in the basement that I hadn't cleaned out, and there was some black bags there, and I had to take the black bags. So there I was, covered in dust, pouring blood down my legs, and she was saying all this, and I felt bad. I felt dirty. I was hurt. My legs were hurt. They were throbbing, and I was struggling with the bags. And she was saying, you should have been out of here by now. And considering I'd been there and supported her, paying rent to her for 7 years, it was cold. It was nasty. And I brought my son up there from when he was really, really young, and we'd lived there, and we'd loved each other there, and I'd had, moments there, and I'd published a book there, and I'd written another one there, and that had been my home. And just to be sort of shooed out like a rat it was horrible. It was really horrible. I was treated just really in an inhuman way, and I was crying as well. I shouldn't really have any sympathy for that. It was kind of disgusting. It was absolutely disgusting, and I'm going to write about it in my new book. So and I'll be naming her as well, her full name, so she will be remembered. And it made me feel really bad, and I could have got angry. I could have got angry and just said, this is disgusting. But I didn't get angry. I cried, and I didn't cry in a weak victim way. I just let tears roll down my face as I was struggling with these bags. There were so many bags, and I just had to put them in the street. And of course, it's such a snobby, uptight, horrible area. People were going like that as they were going past. I mean, it wasn't any big deal. You had to walk around them, I mean, you could see someone struggling, and it was horrible. And I got in the car and I just drove around the corner, and I just cried. And really, I felt awfully proud of myself, the way I had acted. I hadn't given way to anger. I just carried on. I hadn't let them see me crying. I suppose they must have done notice because my mascara is pretty much running down my face, but I didn't weep in the way of a victim. I just let the emotion out because it was hurting me. And really, it should have been so different. You should leave a house with a thank you. Thank you for paying rent. Thank you for, taking care of the house. And oh, what a shame, because it's hard to rent and you do get attached to somewhere. And we're human too. Renters are human. What are we not human anymore? Because the whole world's got obsessed with money. So if you're renting, you're not actually a person. I mean, these places are our homes and we've lived and loved in them. It's not for others to sort of say, well, it's mine. And so you'll be shooed out like a rat. And she shooed me out like a rat. And I was bleeding down my legs and crying and struggling with these bags. It was sad. It was really sad and it was really hard. And I thought, I'm a loser. I am a loser. And I went around the corner and sat in the car and I thought, I'm such a loser. But I didn't get angry. And looking back, I dealt with it okay. It's okay to cry. And as long as you don't abuse. And something really nice happened. My neighbors next door, who were an old couple, and I didn't really have super much to do with them, although they did like leave strawberries and like runner beans sometimes on my doorstep. That they got from the allotment. I didn't have super much to do with them, and just they were so nice. Venetia, she's called, and he's called Angus. It was so nice. I had so much stuff, and he came out and he said, put the stuff you want in my house. I thought that was so kind because everyone else was making such a fuss about it being there in the street. So he brought it in, and then there was some bags in the street, and I had to go and do the school run. And so I went and did the school run, and I just didn't have the heart to go back because I had all this blood running down my legs, and I thought it might get septic with the dirt and dust from the bags that had been in the basement on the cuts. So I just went home, and then the next day I came back. I thought I'm gonna have a lot of work to do, and my legs are still really sore, and I was worried about because my clothes are packed. So I just had one dress. I had a dress, and so these scars weren't really covered, and all the bags were gone. And I knocked on their door, and Angus said, Venetia went to the dump for you. And she must have gone about 4 or 5 times back and forth, back and forth. So, so nice that that couple would do that. And it's so nice that sometimes if you're going through something horrid and someone is treating you in a really, really inhuman way, that suddenly someone comes out like an angel and just touches your heart in this amazing way and just shows you so much warmth and love. And just to think, if you didn't have the bad stuff, then you wouldn't have the good stuff. And I will never forget the way they treated me. It was so nice and so respectful. And I thought, well, maybe I'm not that much of a loser if those really good, nice, wonderful people can treat me with such respect, to take in my things, even though they were dusty, into their lovely home, and to dusty up their car with my black bags and think me important enough to go and do dump runs for me, and just to take all of it. So there was nothing left for me to do. That's so kind. And then they sent me a Christmas card and a birthday card for my son. They sent me 2 cards. So they're just wonderful, wonderful, wonderful people. And I will remember that. And then when I look back on that day, it won't just be about cutting my legs so badly on those thorns. It will be about Venetia and Angus. And I will just remember them. And I will remember him taking in my things. And I will remember her doing the dump runs and hugging me as well. She hugged me. And it's so kind. I will just remember that. And I won't remember Denise's face. I won't remember her face with her acne. I won't remember her saying, "Oh, what's that?" Yes, it's my son's aeroplane pictures. He won't live here anymore and he's upset about it. It's his home and it was his home for 7 years. So I'm so sorry if his little pictures of aeroplanes are still on the bloody wall with some blue tack. I won't remember that. I'll forget that. I will remember those two beautiful people, Angus and Venetia. I will remember them. I remember that kindness that when someone was struggling and crying and had mascara and looked like, I don't know, I must have looked like a bag lady, my legs bleeding, that they, instead of shutting the door and thinking, oh God, they were like, what can we do? And they really got stuck in. Who does that? People don't do that these days. They don't give a shit. They don't care, especially if someone's moving away. They think, oh, I won't see them anymore. They didn't have their shit together. These people went out of their way, and then even when I'd finished, they were busy wondering what they could do and writing cards saying, I hope you're okay. Let us know you're okay. That is the way to live, people. And if we go through our lives and comfort ourselves and make sure we are not beaten down, to make sure we're not in a victim level by not leaning on others, but leaning on ourselves and medicating ourselves with flower essences, with oils that are there, with these things that we have, with the teas, with the herbs, with homeopathic remedies, with all these things. If we lean on that and know that we can make ourselves strong with that, that we can withstand anything with that, then we can be like Angus and Venetia. We can do dump runs for someone else. We can say, leave your stuff in my hallway. And I dearly, dearly want to be someone like that. And I, in my turn, could give £10 to the woman begging in the street. What happens when you're nice to someone, when you give them your heart, then it goes on. They are warmed by you, and they then, when they see someone suffering an icy cold, they then can give their heart to someone else. So it's something that it has a ripple effect. The same with the darkness, that also has a ripple effect. But let's focus on the rose petals at the moment, the pink rose petals, giving us the velvet feeling, giving us the smell. Not the thorns. The thorns are there, but the rose is the most powerful, powerful thing, and the rose will never die. The rose will go on and on and on, and we can feed off it, and it will always be there for us to heal from, and just to gain strength from, just to know it's there. We're not on our own. It's not just thorns. It's not that. It's not just the scarring, the bleeding, the thorns, the pain. It's not that, because just the real thing is the rose. The whole of it is the rose, and that is the real, and that is there. And we have to claim our part of the rose and give our rose to others, and just really immerse ourselves in that safety, in that eye of the storm, in that knowing that everything will be okay, everything will be warm, and to be rose-like to other people, to be warm, to be like the rose, a pink rose of love, the red rose of passion, the white rose of purity, the yellow rose of sunshine, to be that rose and to give that energy. Which reminds me, I am going to get a website and make rose essences, but I don't really trust other people's roses, because in case they put poison on. So I want to grow a rose from scratch. So if anybody has a spare allotment that I can use, or a greenhouse, that will be fantastic, because I want to grow roses, different types of roses, and I do want to make some healing essences with them and get that going, and also make remedies for people bespoke remedies, like if someone says, oh, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, to just mix them up something, just using intuition, really, just using what comes to mind, whether it be astral journeying to find out what they've got going on in their lives. But to do that, it's not that easy to do over the phone or Skype them. You have to really touch someone or touch something of theirs to really, I do anyway, to be able to do that. And yeah, to sort of, or hear their voice, you've got to get that physical connection for you to be able to kind of reach them mostly anyway. I tend to need that. And then if I can find some way of doing that, and then helping them by seeing literally the big picture in their lives, and then to prescribe some kind of aromatherapy or flower essences, the rose, the essences that I want to make. But I don't want to buy these flowers. I want to make them myself, because I think if you buy them, you don't know what people have been putting on them. And then how can you make them into an essence? You have to know that they're pure. That's what I want to do. I don't know how to do it. It's probably a pipe dream. I don't know how to start. You probably, if anybody out there is listening to this and has some ideas, please contact me on Facebook. My Facebook is Christine Joanna Hart, or it might also be Christiane Hart, one or the other. But please PM me, and if you've got ideas, I'd be really grateful. At the moment, it's something I want to do, and I think you start with a website, and I would say, but then I'm thinking perhaps I need to start with a greenhouse. But that's what I would like to do. I probably won't get to do that. I'll probably just be doing something else, like investigations work that I don't want to do. But I would really like to do that, because that helped me over my bad time, and I know how to help others now, because I'm an empath and I'm intuitive, and I know what to pick for them. And this stuff really cures you, really cured me, and it's quite good. It's quite good to know that you don't have to be dependent on a therapist. You don't have to be dependent on friends. It's brilliant. You can just like reach for it, and it's like, whoa, yeah. So I had that, and things are looking okay at the moment. So yeah, that's it really. I'm glad I had the chance to have this radio show to catch up. Obviously, next week I'm going to have a guest. Um, People have been asking me to do a show about Pizzagate. I have said to people that it's quite hard for me, because I do get triggered, and if my life is really stormy, it's quite hard for me to do that, because I need to remain as strong as I can. But then if we're talking about things like child abuse, especially child sexual abuse, it triggers me like hell, and then I'm internally upset, and or I'll start numbing out, and then or going into denial, and then it's not great for me. So I haven't been able to do a show about it, but perhaps next week, if I can find somebody that I think is knowledgeable about the subject, then I will tackle that subject. I'm trying to think what other things people have asked me to do shows about. Actually, not much at the moment. Things are quiet. I noticed Taj from Basis sent me a video of Sarah Adams on Jim Marrs' show. I couldn't quite believe it. I still can't believe it. I can't believe Sarah on Jim Marrs. Jim Marrs. I mean, my God, it's like, whoa. How did she swing that? I can't believe it. I actually rang Miles this morning and I said, guess what? Um, Sarah is on is on a show talking to Jim Mars. He said, no. I said, pardon? He said, no. I said, no, no, what? No. He said, no, Jim Mars, Sarah Adams, what are you on about? I said, no, they're together talking. He said, no. I said, no, yes. And he wouldn't believe me. He just wouldn't believe me. So I sent it to him. He still didn't actually believe his own eyes. I couldn't believe it either. It's like, what? How does she do that? I don't know how she did that. Um, I haven't spoke to her for a long, long time. She actually came to my house in London in the summer, and yeah, so I met her, and it was quite interesting. She's got a really strong, like a celebrity presence. I've met quite a few celebrities working for the News of the World, and she's got that going on, that sort of aura. She'd be quite good in like Celebrity Big Brother House, that kind of stuff, like those kind of girls. So she's got that going on quite strongly, and she did have it in the Jim Mars interview. I don't know if my listeners have seen it, but check it out because it's quite interesting. There's not one bit of doubt or shyness um, going down with Sarah in the interview. There's just not one tiny bit of self doubt or anything. I just couldn't believe it. Wow, I wish I had that shit going on. I wish I had that confidence. It was like, wow, I thought if she snorted cocaine to do that. It was really sort of, no self-doubt, all the way through, not one tiny bit. I wish I had that confidence. Certainly when I was younger, I wish I had that going down. It must incur, though, a lot of envy. It must do, because, well, it just must do. I'm older, so luckily I'm out of that. She's not competition for me because she's a different age group. I suppose if it was someone my age doing it, I might think, I sod them. So I suppose she must incur envy from women her own age, looking at that, thinking, "Oh, I haven't got that confidence. How come she's got that confidence?" And it was quite something to go on Jim Mars, because he's quite a massive name in the truth movement, like massive. I mean, I've met David Icke, name drop, and he interviewed me and he put me on the Richie Allen show. But I thought, wow, I met David Icke. I did think, wow, it's like cool. But Jim Mars is like, I think even is he more interesting than David? I think so. I don't know. My listeners probably that I got trolled now underneath this. I'll get trolled. Oh, she thinks that. I say no, they're not. Well, I who knows? But I know Jim Moss is very quite glamorous, and he's quite a name. And Miles Johnson was he didn't believe it either. He thought, wow. And so, yeah, and it was quite interesting to watch. She didn't have any self doubt or any lack of confidence. It was all there. And yeah, it's amazing. It's totally amazing. I can't actually believe my own eyes from seeing it. But there you go. So some of us know how to move forward in life. Some people do not let the grass grow under their feet. Um, you know, Here am I, a lot older, and I certainly haven't pushed myself forward, which probably you need to in this day and age to push yourself forward, to have that confidence, to have that belief, to be really secure with oneself. It must be awesome, really, to feel very sort of super secure. I mean, when I'm being interviewed, even though I know I've got some kind of interesting things to say, about the monarch stuff. I don't know if I was used in that way, but it does make sense of my life. But when I'm recounting the story, I do feel like, am I saying this okay? Or is my listener thinking I'm an asshole? Or is the listener thinking I'm mad? Or does it sound absurd? So all the time I'm quite nervous. Like when I spoke to David Icke, I was quite nervous about talking about different things. And he does make a person feel at ease, though. He's pretty, he's quite attractive, actually. Um, he had a crush on David. Yeah, he's pretty cool. But I think if I'd have been sitting on a settee talking to Jim Mars, I would feel nervous. I would probably need half a lager or something to like desensitize me, so I didn't feel so uber self-conscious. And then when I would be telling my story, I would probably stutter a bit. I'd probably say quite a lot, probably blush, and I'd probably cringe, and then finish off by thinking, does he think I'm boring? Does he think, but Sarah didn't have any of that whatsoever. It was almost like she was Cameron Diaz chatting to him. She couldn't believe it. So I must email her and ask her for some of whatever she's on because I just wish I was like that. I wish that I had that confidence. I wish that I thought I was Cameron Diaz. I really wish I did. I really wish I had some of that. God. And then she said to him in the middle that she regretted doing, but I told Miles this morning. I quite enjoyed. I am such a gossip and a shit stirrer. I said, "Oh, Miles, I think she slagged you off a little bit in the middle," but actually she didn't say his name. She said, "Oh, I wish I hadn't done bases." And then she turned to Jim Mars and said, I bet you wish. I'm just like you probably regret certain things, don't you? The great Jim Mars. So funny in a way. So funny. So funny. I can't believe it. Oh, I've got to talk to somebody about it. Who do I know that I can talk to somebody? After the show I've done, I must ring someone and talk to them about it. I can't believe it, but nobody seems to be actually discussing it. It's nobody's shared it really on their Facebook. So it's like it's been sort of ignored, but I don't know, it's weird. I just thought it was a massive big deal. Yeah, anyway, the show is coming to a close. I've shared now quite a lot. I've caught up, so I've just got another little bit to go. Just to let you know that I will be back having guests, and I will have a guest next week. I'm not sure who, and I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing, but I will get someone good. I was thinking Fritz Springmeier. I was thinking Harold Kautzvella. I was thinking one of those two guys. So please do shoot me ideas on Facebook. I am there to be spoken to yeah, share ideas. Look out for my troll. Could you peoples under my YouTubes? There's this guy. He trolled me. He trolled cops. He got put in prison, and he's out now. He's out now. I saw him under my YouTube. He must have just come straight out of prison, got on YouTube, and is trolling me. I know it's him. He has a certain, it's an energy, and I really don't like it. I really don't like it. He uses black magic as well. So he uses voodoo. So I can feel all those things. So there's certain people that I can speak to about him with reversing that back on him, which I'm going to do because I really, I'm not just going to sit and take it off this guy. So if anybody, I know I've got certain regulars that look under my YouTubes. If you see him there, I'd appreciate some of you good people if you could just splat your energy over him, splat your wonderful good energy over him, and that helps me because he is a dark force. He isn't human. Max Spears was helping me with him, and he said he's not human. There's nothing about him human. It's all been taken over. So that is unfortunately what I'm dealing with. But I can deal with him. But he does show his face under there, and he has been doing that just recently in the last couple of days. I've noticed I've blocked him, but he will come back again because he's obsessed with me. And I'm going to be in touch with the people in Nottingham to speak about him and locate where he is and just generally keep an eye on this guy. He's just God, he's just a public menace, really. He needs to go and live his own life, but he won't. He has a sexual obsession with me, according to Max, and yeah, it's not flattering though, because he's not good looking. So yeah, it's not flattering. People's stalkers are creepy, and he is a stalker. He's more than a trot. So yeah, that's that's that. So yeah. I'm not sure what to do for the last half hour. I was thinking perhaps to read something, but I haven't got anything to hand. I could go and get something that might be a good idea. I would like to read from the Bible or something like that, but I'm trying to think where the nearest nutritional thing would be to read that would kind of match with the show. And I have got something on rose oil, and I've been sharing on rose oil. So if the listener can bear with me, I am going to get this book on rose oil. So I'm going to go silent for just literally 30 seconds, and then I will come back with this book on rose oil. So hang tight, please. Okay, peoples, I'm back, and I have got my Neil's Yard Remedies book on essential oils, and I'm just going to read out about the rose if I can find it. Where are we? Rose, rosemary. Okay, rosemary, tuberose. Ravensara Rose. Okay, Rose. Okay, so here we have Rose. I'm going to read out, and I'm just going to kill my last 20 minutes by reading out about the rose essential oil. So if you're not interested, turn off now, peoples. But if you want to hear about it, I'm going to read this out. Okay, Rosa Damascena. Roses have been used as medicinal plants since antiquity and are celebrated for their calming, uplifting aroma. The oil has a toning, anti-inflammatory and rejuvenating effect, and its mild, detoxifying and antiseptic properties can relieve pain. What is it good for? It rejuvenates the skin. Rose oil supports cell and tissue regeneration, which helps to maintain the skin's elasticity and reduce the appearance of fine lines. It makes an excellent choice for minimizing the appearance of dry skin. Heals skin. The oil helps to repair sun-damaged skin. Fights bacteria. Rose oil has been shown to have antibacterial properties. It enhances well-being. Here's what we're more interested in. It enhances well-being. The oil creates a sense of relaxed well-being and can help to increase feelings of vitality. This calming property makes it useful for taking the edge off stress-related conditions. So there you go. When you're feeling stressed, it really, really knocks off those edges and gives it a pink fuzz. And it is just as potent as any drug. Trust me. Go and buy some. It supports women's health. Rose has a toning effect. Oh God, who cares? Bloody, bloody, bloody. Goes on. This book's not that good. No, it's not that good, is it? It could say more, couldn't it? It could give you a little bit more, maybe the history of roses and No, there's a beautiful picture of one, but really, no, it's not really giving us much. Oh, that's a shame. I was going to read that out. It's nothing in here. Body toning oil, hair and scalp. No, actually, there's not really. Let me see. Moisturizing, healing remedies, digestive problems. No, haven't got those. Appetite loss. No. See, some of these books, they're just so boring, and that's why I want to get my website going to really just focus on the emotional issues I want to work on. And you have to flick through and just find, it's not really here actually. It's not really. This book doesn't cover it. I mean, it might be in some books somewhere, but it's not. It's probably somewhere, but I can't find it. I can't find it here. Essential oils can be wonderful remedies for providing emotional support. In this diffusion, calming frankincense. Oh, they're telling us to use lemon balm, lemon essential oil, cypress, and bergamot. That's reducing anxiety. And here's one for low spirits. Okay, that's for anxiety. Okay, I'll read back over here. Anxiety. We all experience anxiety at some point in life. The feeling of unease or worry that can be mild or severe is a normal response. For example, you may feel, oh God, we know this. Feeling anxious at stressful times is normal. Oh, boring. Okay, but if it becomes too hard to control, oh, really? Using oils in a diffuser creates a reassuring and calm environment. Actually, I prefer them in oil in the bloody bath. Um, she has written lemon balm. I don't really think so. No, not for anxiety. No. For anxiety, I would definitely say rose. Definitely. Maybe mix with a pinch of clary sage and frankincense. Yeah. Depression. Okay. A low mood that lasts for 2 weeks or more can be a sign of depression. Ooh, other symptoms of depression include not getting any enjoyment out of life, feeling hopeless, feeling tired or lacking energy, not being able to concentrate. Therapeutic essential oils can be beneficial for helping to lift a sad mood. Essential oils can be a wonderful way for providing emotional support. God, this book is crap, isn't it? Here we are. For a low mood, she's saying frankincense, neroli, or mandarin. Rose isn't mentioned at all. I disagree with this. Grief and shock, times of emotional crisis. They're saying bergamot and neroli. Neroli is beautiful. It's beautiful. Neroli is actually orange blossom. It's really nice to get something like avocado oil or almond and just make a mix with a handful of that oil and a couple of drops of neroli, mix it together and massage yourself, and then just go off to sleep. That can be really, really nice. Um, Also, she's saying here to feel good, lift the spirits with frankincense and she's mentioned oil, rose and frankincense and geranium. Well, that is, yeah, that's okay. That's pretty good. And insomnia, for insomnia, they're saying clary sage, frankincense, geranium. I'm not sure I'd go with that either. Again, I would probably go with something like orange and neroli to just make you like really sort of drift off, and then maybe drink some tea like Gosh, it begins with M. Not marjoram. I can't think. It begins with M. Anyway, some really nice tea that you can get. Marge. It begins with M. And it makes you really sleepy. Gosh, I can't remember. Damn it. I'll try and remember and put it on my Facebook page. Okay, here we've got a bedtime spray. What I do, I get a spray bottle from Superdrug, the plastic ones, and you put in some spring water and then you put in some drops of essential oil. And then if you've made the it's good to make a crystal essence with the spring water. So if you maybe put something like a jasper or something dark red and then make a crystal essence with the spring water, then put the spring water in and put your essential oil in on that, you can really you can do some amazing things with your house. If you use, so depending on what mood you're in, say you're feeling like confused or something, if you use something really grounding like a red stone, make some crystal essence with the red stone, then add a really grounding oil like cedarwood or cypress, and then just shake it and spray it around the house. It just lingers and it really gives you that grounding. I mean, really get stuck in with using these because they're there for us, and we don't use them. Here they're talking about using ylang ylang for bedtime spray. Not sure about wow, I disagree with everything they're saying, but I'm thinking of it. I just go off my feelings, really, my intuitions, and some of these seem to me just to be recipes, not really what they have, felt out themselves. But oh well, um, yeah, okay. Well, they've tried, but it's not the greatest of books. God, I wish I had a good book that I could. There must be a good one out there, a better one out there, a more spiritual one out there that I could share with you guys, but I haven't got it to hand at the moment. So sorry about that. Perhaps when I do a website, I can write those things myself on there. And I hope it's not just going to be a pipe dream. I do want to do it. Even though I spend most of my time thinking, what shall I call it? What name shall I give it? I thought maybe Heart and Soul, and then I thought, no, that's shit. Then I thought my name, but then journalism comes up, and people might be put off telling me what they need in case I write about it, although I'm not going to. But people tend to think that, don't they? I think they do anyway. So I thought I need a name, and then you get taken up with what name you would have and how the whole thing just sounds like I shouldn't actually bother. But because I've been helped by it so much lately, and it's really cushioned me, and it's really something now that I know I will never, ever, ever, ever be without. I mean, literally, I'll probably massage myself later with some neroli and almond oil, and then I will drift off to sleep just breathing it in. And, if I then get a bottle maybe of clove and bring it to bed and just go to sleep with it under my nose, sort of breathing it in, that you just can take yourself off to another place. It really is that strong. These really work, and they might sound cheesy, but they're not once you just take the time to use the one that's right for you. And it will just take that, even, if you're having obsessive thoughts and or a sort of problem that's knotty and you can't get away from it, that you just need to find the right one for you. And then as it hits that olfactory center, it just triggers you, and it just bang, and then it's gone. And it's just amazing when it happens. And then once you get on a roll with it, you can intuitively, use them for whatever you need them for. And if I can help others do that, that will make me feel as if I'm living a life with a bit of meaning in it, a bit of purpose, a bit of yeah, um, doing something, rather than just living each day not doing anything to help others. Anyway, I have 10 minutes left, so I don't not sure how to fill it because I haven't been on air for a long time and my life has been a little bit of a bumpy ride lately. So it's becoming more and more grounded and more settled. And I'm sure, troubles aren't over, but I'm definitely having a breather. And even if it's just for a day, it's great. It's great. Sometimes when we're tested and we do have difficulties in life and problems, when you kind of get past them and deal with them, then and you have a lull, it's like feels amazing because especially if you've dealt with them in the best way that you could possibly deal with them, even if you feel like you've been a bit of a schmuck, if you've dealt with them in the best possible way, then you can feel pleased with yourself, you can feel good, you can just have a rest and just heal yourself. Take time. We don't spend enough time just staring into space and, or just going and just touching a tree and just, or walking barefoot or, going down to the river and looking in the river, feeding the ducks or just doing things that you do with a little kid, really just to take ourselves like we're little kids and do something really babyish, just kind of do that with yourself. Something really silly and just nothing, just like doing nothing, the kind of thing that you do with a little kid. I miss my son being small, and we have a great laugh now. He's a teenager, and he's so funny and clever, and he's much cleverer than me. He comes out with stuff that's whoa. But I remember when he was a baby and a toddler, and just the way you have to be when you've got a baby and a toddler, you have to slow everything down, and we need to do that for ourselves. Just slow everything down, and even make pouring a cup of orange juice a big deal. I will now pour myself a cup of orange juice. I will sit down with it. I'll feel the cup it's in. I'll sip it. I'll enjoy it. I'll really focus on it, in the way that a toddler does. It's like a whole adventure to have a cup of orange juice. It's like an event. We do things on robotic, like we'll go to the fridge, pour it out and drink it. And we won't even remember we've done it because it'll just be remote and, we just throw the cup away or it's a paper cup or throw it in the sink. And we won't even remember that we've had orange juice a few minutes later. But if we do all those little things with a mindfulness and, like a toddler does, and literally to sort of make a big deal out of the little things, then it's really healing. It's really healing. And just to take some time to do that healing, to just be there for ourselves like a parent and treat ourselves like we are children and just cosset ourselves and just take the time, take a few hours, take a day doing nothing. And during that day, you don't have to do big pampering things, but just focus on something like having a drink of orange juice or something like putting on a clean t-shirt or just something like going out and looking at water, a river or the sea or taking a walk with the wind blowing on your face. You ever see a toddler, you take them out in a windy day and they're so excited. Oh, it's like a big deal. You see a bird fly past and they run after it. Everything's massive, a massive deal. They're so excited about everything. You just bring out that part of yourself and really, just, I don't know, go to a park and just spin round and dance and just be that toddler that you've got inside and really acknowledge that part of you and really sort of heal every part of you and just bring it back and make it whole, make that part of you whole. Because a lot of us just got tiny bits of ourselves. We're like shards. We've just got tiny, tiny little shards, and there's so many shards missing, and we can just I know the soul retriever, and that's pretty handy, but most people don't want to do it. But if you can just call them back, call everything back and become whole. And the more you meditate, the more you indulge that child side of yourself, the more likely these parts of pissed off because they're so disgusted with the life you're living will return to you. They will. They want to return, but you've just got to welcome them back and welcome them back by being appreciative, by being grateful, and by sending out these vibes of, oh, I'm having a nice time. I'm sipping a really lovely cup of orange juice. I'm watching that bird fly by me. I am walking and running in the park. I am walking barefoot. I'm walking in the rain. I'm walking in the wind. I'm having a wonderful time. And literally, you will be calling parts back and you will find yourself becoming more and more whole and more with yourself. And if you're whole, then you can realize what your mission is here to do and why you're actually here, because we're all here for some kind of purpose, whether it's just a lesson we've got to learn or to help someone, or just because we want to shave off some karma. There's something, and the more whole you are, the more likely you are to connect up with that, even if it's to find your soulmate. A lot of us are here coming back to connect with our twin flames and to have that experience of true love before end times come into place. And there's a really, really good book on twin flames. So it's not called twin flames, it's called soulmates, but please don't confuse it with the cheesier version of soulmates. He does mean twin flames. It's the best book on the subject, and it's called Soulmates. I do believe it's called Soulmates, or just Soulmate. It's got a red cover, and it's by Ramtha. And I read it years ago, and gosh, I lost it actually. I lost my copy, but it's fantastic, and it's how you block up your holes that you're leaking. And literally, he's saying to become whole, and then by becoming whole, you draw that other self to you. You draw your twin flame to you, and just to feel that. Sometimes you can if you go out, and sometimes you're in the rain, you feel the wind on your face, and you can kind of sometimes you can feel someone. If you haven't, obviously, if you're not with your soulmate, it's a moment of time, but you can almost feel that. I feel almost like a someone or a something that I'm not with, but is out there, and it just is an exciting awareness. Your consciousness becomes, it expands, and you have, as Colin Wilson said, that gosh, what did he call it? That moment of he had a he had a name for it, and Proust, is it Proust, who went in a shop and bit into a Madeleine, when there's cakes, Madeleine cakes, and all of a sudden the whole world sort of lit up and everything was connected. Gosh, what are they called? Peak experiences? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Colin Wilson called them peak experiences, when our minds are lifted out of the mundane, and all of a sudden the whole universe seems connected up inside our heads, and we get that ecstasy, and not a fake ecstasy, but an ecstasy of truly seeing what life is really about. That life isn't trapped in a box, that we're living in a way that's not normal. And we feel that peak experience of that connection to the higher, and it's amazing. So if we concentrate on those small things, it's in the small things, it's in that taking time, that now, that mindfulness, that we get the peak experience. It's to be had, like Proust sitting there in the cafe, bit into a cake, and bing, he just got it. He was sucked back to it another time, and he got that. So you just get that through slowing down really, 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 really slow. And the essential oils help you do that because they bring you into the moment. They do. I mean, so please do go and buy a bottle tomorrow. Just pick what you want. Just intuitively go in there, be like a kid in a sweet shop. And just I recommend Neal's Yard because their oils are good. I don't like the others. Some of them are shit actually. But go into a Neal's Yard if you got and be like a kid. Just say, what sweet will I have? You know, just and don't think, oh, don't look at the price, okay? They range from £6, £7, £12. Don't look at the price. Look, treat yourself. Just go in there and buy yourself. Be a kid. What lolly do I want? A red lolly, a yellow lolly? What do I want? See, just what do you want? And just go and treat yourself. Smell a few and think, what is making me feel good? And buy it, and then go out and go to bed, smell it, and just keep smelling it. Just undo the lid, smell it, breathe it in, and say to yourself, I matter. I really, really matter. I am important. So I'd like all of you that are listening to, when you switch off, the next time you are out, Google a Neal's Yard, go in there for me, buy an oil, and do what I've said. If you're going to get some almond oil in there, £7, I think, and mix a few drops, put it in your bath, smell it when you're in the bath. Really, 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 if it's just one time you do that thing, then I'd like you to, as a favor to me, to do that and let me know. Send me messages underneath this on YouTube or contact me on Facebook and let me know what happened to you. Anyway, we're coming to the end of the show. It's 4 more minutes. My throat is really dry. I will have a guest next week. This is Christine Joanna Hart Show. If you look on YouTube, I'm Christine Joanna Hart. Please subscribe. That is helpful to me. And find me on Facebook as well. And please friend me on Facebook. And message me, or talk to me underneath. I look at the comments. Please don't be horrid. If you see any horrid messages, please feel free to say something to them. I love it when people stick up for me. It's so, what a gift. Someone says something mean, someone goes, no. And you just think, yay, isn't it wonderful? It's such a gift. When someone sticks up for you, it's just awesome. It's just so awesome. I like to try and do it when I can. I'm often too cowardly to do it. That's why I admire people that do that so much. For others, it's amazing. Some people do it so well as well, don't they? You're like, whoa. I'm thinking of 1 or 2 people that did it to me when I first did the bases, and I hope they still listen to my shows, and I still remember them, and just it's so nice. I was looking through YouTube comments, and it's so nice to see the familiar names, and just it makes me feel all warm and squishy just to see the same names coming up and just talking to them again, and it's so nice. And sometimes when I feel all alone here in horrid England and a grey sky, and I think of those people, and it makes me feel warm because it's a connection, albeit online, a cyber connection. It's still, they're still real people. They're not avatars. It's not Second Life. Well, actually, Second Life is got humans behind the avatars, but still, they're not cartoons. They are real people, and it makes me feel good. It makes me feel really connected, and we've come to an end. And thanks for listening, and God bless all of you. Thank you.
listening to Revolution Radio.